Hi, my crafty friends out there. We're going to look through the good old scrap bin. I have a pair of suede pants that I think we can have some fun with. They were, can you see that? $7.99 at American Thrift. They're from they're from Austin. They're Austin. Anyway, they're just suede. Your typical suede pants. They're way too long for me, and they're about an inch too short in the waist for me. So I'm going to take these, cut them down the sides, and insert some fabric on each side to make them a little wider, probably a little wider at the bottom, and of course a little wider at the top. And I'm probably going to put some elastic in there as well. So that being said, this is our project. I'm going to put these up over here for now, over by my IKEA bag. All right, I have collected fabric and done projects for a long time, obviously. So I want to find some fabric that's going to coordinate with the camel color and the suede, as well as find something that will I don't know, it'll just make it interesting. Now this is some Christmas fabric, some jersey fabric. I'm just going to this is quilted, this made a clown suit, this is the velvet we used on our snowman. But I'm looking for something kind of in the red and maybe burgundy kind of tones. Something interesting. I mean, even that color will work, but that's a little too green. We'll always need some black, so we'll reserve some black. And maybe some blue. I know that sounds crazy, but this might work. This is actually corduroy, very low pile corduroy, small. Brown, who knows? There's more brown. I think this is a different fabric though. That one might be sturdier. I don't really like that red. As you can see, I've got a lot of kids fabric. So I need this for something else. I'm gonna make some little jewelry pillows to put bracelets on, so might as well pick that out right now. This is that upholstery fabric I was talking about. Who knows? And I thought I had some deep burgundy what is it? It's a type of silk. I can't remember. This is kind of interesting. Keep that out. We'll see what that does. I kind of like the leaves in this, but I don't know if I want to go that orange. Well, we'll just keep it out. I'd rather keep it all out and then toss it back in than have to go through this process again. This is actually that satin, what is it, brocade or whatever that you make, you know, more I guess, I don't know. I make kimonos out of it, so maybe an Asian style dress. I made another one with that too. I know that's weird, little paisley, but I don't want to count it out. I need some not texture, but some patterns in this process. Oh, this one came undone. I am always retying these, but that's okay. I could do this for hours. It's not quite as satisfying as going through buttons, but definitely got some ideas maybe for that. Well, keep going. Just keep going. That's a tie for something. But I do need some patterns. I love this piece. It's batik. It's beautiful, but I don't think it's in the color tones we want. But there's a lot of colors in this, so I'm going to pull it out just in case. Let's see. Burgundy might work. Kind of an eggplant color. I thought what I would do is just kind of make a patchwork piece, a long patchwork piece, and then I would take and put it, I would cut it in half to make my two pieces, and that would give me what I need to fill in on the sides. Y'all have probably seen people do that. This is kind of green. It's one of my favorite pieces of fabric, but, well, again, just hold it out. Never know. Never know. So, I am not sure if I'm going to torture y'all with too much of this, but I did want y'all to see what I was trying to dig through to find fabrics to go in these pants. Now, I also have shelves full of fabrics. There's some more of that. Isn't that beautiful? Tons of fabric on my shelves behind me that I can add as well. There it is. The only thing about this is this particular silk, it bleeds, so I have to wash it. I think I've washed this a lot and it shouldn't bleed anymore, but I'm not sure if I trust it. Especially, well, I guess for suede, I'm not going to be washing it. Although, I do know that there's some people out there that wash their suede and they don't care about, you know, water stains or whatever. Depending on what it is, they're, what's made out of suede, whether it be a jacket or whatever. That's some more Christmas fabric. I like that one. Let me think about that one. I have to make some gift bags for some of the things I'm making for people for Christmas, and it is helpful to have a lot of Christmas fabric, which I have quite a bit. I think there's a whole roll of it, as a matter of fact. I always like that fabric too. And that's it it's the same thing. You know, there's a lot of times I'll buy fabric. A couple weeks later, I'll go back to the store, and obviously I'm buying more fabric, and I've come home and it's same pattern, just two different colors. Of course, I've also brought the exact same fabric home before too. Let's see. Well, like I said, this, ooh, that's got an, I like that. So, I'm going to be looking through this, and I'll get back with y'all at the table when we're ready to start cutting up the sides and taking these pants apart. Okay, everybody, I have gone through this several different ways, and finally, I think I've settled on what I'm going to do in the panels, or on the panels in the sides of these pants. And before I go on to tell you what I'm going to do, I do want to confirm that I'm going to have to take 3 inches off of this, off these pants. And I just got taught something. I just got schooled. I was trying to find the hemline on my own, which if anybody's tried that, it can be difficult. But what I was doing, I was trying on the shoes I was going to wear them with, and I was folding them up like this to get to where I want them to fall. Well, my smart husband showed me something that I didn't know tailors did, but this is very smart. After I folded it up, I said, now I've got to mark it, and I just couldn't think three-dimensionally, I guess, or whatever. He said, oh, well, this is what you do, and he shoves the marker in there, and he runs it down the crease that's already in that fold. I was thinking, well, that is super smart. I don't know. I'm sure that's common practice. He's seen a tailor do it before. I think that's great. I've never seen that. I've never had pants tailored in that manner, like a, you know, like a suit or anything. So just a neat little trick, especially if you're doing it with jeans or suede, something stiff that will hold the fold. Just send your little marker down there and mark the fold. So anyway, I know I've got to take off 3 inches. So I measured the outer seam, which is not usually what we do. You usually go inner seam, but the outer seam's where I'm replacing. I took 3 inches off the bottom, and between the waistline and the hemline that I'm going to use, it's about 41 inches. So that just let me know how much panel I needed to create. Now I went through all kinds of hoopla. I had all these beautiful fabrics, and I have a ton of them, and they were all in the color palette that I wanted to use. But the more I put in there, the less I liked it. It was too busy. Even if I was putting solids between prints, it was making me crazy. So I did have one print that I really liked, and I've always liked. I've used it a couple of times. It's an old piece of mine, and it's this pretty floral pattern. It's very fall colorish. It's real pretty. It doesn't have any gold or anything to it, like shiny gold. But it goes with all these beautiful solid colors I have. This green, this kind of mustard color, this burnt orange color, and a little bit of this burgundy. So, what I'm going to do, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the solid stripe out of this. But then to give it interest, I'm going to put stripes, diagonal stripes, in other words, not straight across, stripes of these intermittently, possibly together. And that will, and I'm going to put them on top like an almost like you're quilting 2 pieces together, like we did with the Halloween dress. So I'm going to put them on top and quilt them on top, and I think that'll also give me a little more stability to have those panels in between, because this is just cotton. It's all been washed. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rip up the side of this and see how bad or how much trouble this is going to be to put together. Now I've already started it down here, and these are sewn together just like a regular seam with thread. I'm sure it's some kind of special thread, you know. I mean, I'm sure it's not just, you know, any kind of thread. And I'm going to try and get this started. These might not be my sharpest seam rippers. And that's that seam where the hem is. So I want it to run, but I don't know if it's going to. Whoop, there we go. All right. Satisfying. And we're gonna go right up, and I'm only ripping the suede right now. The liner is gonna be a whole nother booger to deal with. All right, y'all, I'm here on the deciding factor for this piece of fabric as my side panel, and it's really pretty to me. And I'm thinking, at first I was thinking that I would have like maybe some breakup points and you know, maybe some crisscrosses, odd angles, you know, across them to make the panels more interesting. And then I kind of liked it being solid. I know it sounds crazy and very plain, but I liked it being solid. But then using like the green up here as the top for the waistband, keeping this panel solid down the leg, and then at the bottom adding these 3 pieces to extend it, but also to kind of break down the pattern at the end of the pants leg, and then maybe give me the opportunity to widen it at the bottom of the pants leg ever so slightly, not a lot, maybe like from 3 to 5 inches, but it would give me, I think, a better turn there. I think it would turn out better. I just can't break up this pattern. I don't know why. I really am drawn to it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make 2 panels, 2 leg panels. They're both going to look like this. Green at the top for the waistband, which I'm not going to sew the waistband on until I get the rest of the bottom done and sewn together. And the reason being is I want to make sure I'm spot on accurate as far as how much I need at the top, because I can add to the top a lot easier than I can add to the bottom and make the waistband. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these into probably 2.5 inch width, maybe 2.5. Then what is this one? 3. This one's 3, so that one's 3 inches. Maybe I'll cut this one into 2. Well, not 2.5, 3, and then this one I believe is 4. So we're gonna graduate the colors down. And I'm gonna start with this lighter color and graduate it down because I want the darker color to be my hem, or my hemline. So let me cut these up, and I will meet y'all probably over at the sewing machine when I'm sewing the panel together. Okay, I am going to be using the full width of this piece of fabric that I had remaining, and it's about 19 inches across. And I've cut my 3 stripes about that same size, and I'm going to put them on the bottom, and I'm going to serge them with the serger. And the reason I'm doing that is what I'm going to do after I serge it is I'm going to iron it, flip it over, and then I'm going to put a nice stitch line on top to hold it in place. But I figured this might keep it from fraying a little better. Just got to figure out, I think it's this one is the smallest one. That's the one I'm going to have at the top. And then I'm not gonna put y'all through the torture of the serger, but I just want to let you know what I was doing. I'm serging on each stripe. I'm going to go over there and iron it, and then add on the next one. And as I do that, actually I might just put them all together, I guess, and then go over and iron it, and then come back and do the top stitching on the sewing machine. So I'm just going to start here, go all the way across, add these 3 stripes, and then, like I said, we'll go over to the machine and top stitch. Be right back. Alright, I've got all of my colors on, and I've got them all pressed with the serge seam towards the bottom, this way. So now all I'm going to do is just run some top stitches on it, just to make sure it's secure and, you know, to give it, you know, I think a nice look. So I'm going to run my sewing machine foot right along the edge of this, and I'm going to put a top stitch probably, you know, not even 1/4 of an inch in. So again, I won't torture you. I might fast forward you some so you don't have to watch me sew, but you know where I'm going. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut the excess off of the pants, just to make it easier to measure the panel down. And I've already gone ahead and I serged the bottom of this last stripe, so it'll be easy to hem. But I didn't hem it because I thought maybe it would be beneficial to have that open so I could hem it afterwards. In other words, make sure that it's the right length. It'll give me a little leeway, I guess I should say. Alright, so I know I need to take 3 inches off of these pants to make them fit. But I also need to re-secure a hem on it. So what I thought I would do is I'd make the hem, this hem is just under 1 inch, but I'm going to go even and make it mine 1 inch. So if my hem's 1 inch, then I only need to take off 2 inches. So I leave 1 inch to roll up for my hem. And I thought about cutting the satin at the same time. Same situation though. I think I want to wait until I get the inserts done, or at least I'm doing the inserts so I can hem this to the proper length at that time. I'm just thinking I shouldn't cut the satin insert yet for some reason. Or the satin lining, I'm sorry. I'm not sure why. It's just something that's niggling at me. So I'm going to take 2 inches off of this bottom. Nice cut. And I'm going to take 2 inches off of the other one. So we're going to kind of turn around this toe up pair of pants. And I'm going to kind of stretch it. I had to do that earlier because it's got a little bit of a bow to it just for shape. But I think cutting it straight will be fine because these are going to fall. I'm going to wear some boots with them. And they'll fall they'll puddle over the back of the boot. So I don't think it's going to be a problem if they're straight across. And again, 2 inches because I'm going to use 1 inch to fold under for my hem. Don't quite that much. And there we go. There's my 2 inches. Stuff's easier to cut than fabric. Alright, so now I've got my legs cut to the proper length. And again, I'm not really worried about the lining right now. I can work with that as the insert's put in. So that's no problem. I can hem it along with the hem at the bottom of I'm sorry. I can hem the lining at the same time I'm hemming the insert panel. So, let's see. I have this. And I measured this. This is 45 inches long. So it is more than enough to put in here. In fact, I'll probably end up cutting from the top to add the green waistband. Because I think it needs to have a different color waistband. For some reason, I don't know. I just think it'll look neater. Now I'm going to take about, I might take 1 inch off of the bottom of this as well. Not off, but I may measure past 1 inch of it so it can be part of the hem as well. And I may be able to just hem the pants all at once, which will be great. And I could keep it all consistent. And it'll look like a natural hem. So we kind of got to get an idea of how much we need. There's a little bow here where the pants have a natural hip line. And I think that's it. 1 inch down here. Make sure that's right. And then we'll have 1 inch. Oh, I don't need to do that. I need to do it here. Oh, come on, Stephanie. I know it's the holidays. I hadn't even been drinking. Gotta get it with flesh because all of it's going to be folded under 1 inch. Oh, Lord. Having a moment. I did get me some of that salted caramel. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. I'm thinking about putting it with some... My daughter said it was really good with apple cider. I don't know. We'll see. Let's take our little marker up here and give us a good mark. Oops. And I think that should do it. That's all the way to my waistline. So I've just got to make sure that this little mark I made on this very colorful fabric or pattern fabric, it's right at the waistline. And so I'll have to accommodate probably about a quarter to a half, no, probably about, yeah, a quarter to a half inch, however wide my serge is there. And I'll serge on this green piece of fabric onto this top and then cut off the excess. And that should give me what I need for my waistline. And this, if it's folded over in half, is probably, it's a little bit big for this. It's about almost a half inch more than I need, But what I'll do is, but that also is going to be where I'm sewing it. So this might work. In fact, I might even double it over like this. And then all I have to do is, I'm going to leave it hollow. I'm going to leave it open so I can insert at least a 1-inch piece of elastic there to give it some give, because suede doesn't give, and just for comfort. So yeah, cool. All right, well, I might just serge this on double-sided like this. It'll make for a stronger waistband, and I'll serge it on at this line. Okay, all right, let me go serge this on real quick, and then we'll get back to finishing up what we want to do width-wise for the insert. In other words, I think I'm going to start at about 2.5 inches here, and then I'm going to widen it just ever so much, maybe up to 5 inches down here, so I get a flare out of this. Okay, I just wanted to let y'all know the waistband that I put in, the pieces were 4 inches wide. And then what I did is I folded them. They happened to be long, the piece happened to be long enough for me to double it and then fold it, so it's super thick. Well, super thick. It's a good waistband. And then it would be 2 inches. And then the serge line is just a little, the serge line is, it's about 1/4 of an inch. Maybe a little bit more, not much. So I had to accommodate that when I put this on, and I put it on with the serger, and you can see my chalk lines are still there, and I haven't ironed it. But so I measured on this piece where I wanted the waistline to end. Then I had to add that 1/4 inch to put this on, and I measured that and whited that out as well. Then I put the green right at that second white line, serged it, and I measured it up against my pants, and this waistline falls perfect with the length for the side panel. So I don't know, maybe I got lucky, but you can see here it's doubled. So essentially what I did is I took the full length of the fabric, folded it in half, and then folded it in half lengthwise. So, and it doesn't matter. I'm going to be sewing this into the waistline. So I'm going to catch this on the sides when I'm sewing it together. I just happen to do it that way. I'm going to press this, and I'm also going to top stitch it to make sure it stays in place. Well, it's going to stay in place, but you know, just to give it a nice finished look. And then, since I've got the right length here, this is my length. And I'll just show y'all real quick. This is one of the sides. It's a kind of a mess to pull out. But the waistband will be just a smidge bigger than this waistband, but I'm okay with that. And it goes all the way just right to the end of the pants. So this panel is going to work perfect. As perfect as I get, at least. All right, after thinking about this, I think that I'm going to just keep it straight. In other words, I'm not going to do a flare. The reason I'm not doing a flare partly is because I don't think the fabric is stiff enough to push out a flare. And this happens to be, about 9 inches. So I thought I would cut it in half, and that gives me about, obviously, about the 4.5 inch mark there. So that will give me enough to put a 1/2 inch underneath each seam on the waistband and all the way down the seam. It'll give me enough room to put a piece of elastic and still get that. I really only needed about 1 inch on these pants. So that'll give me 2 inches. I can wear a belt because I'm probably going to wear a belt anyway. And that, I think, will be comfortable. And so anyway, I just wanted to explain my thought process that instead of doing a flare, because this fabric I don't think can hold out a flare, I'm just going to Just going to cut it in half and use 1/2 of each of these. Now, you know me, that feels like a waste of fabric, but good part is I can definitely use this again. It's a big, nice swath of fabric, so it's not like I've destroyed anything, but I want to make sure that I get this lined up properly because I've already squared it up with my last cut. And I want to make sure that I get 4.5 inches out of each side. So let's see, 20 and a half here. Yep, that'll do it. Just want to make sure I get that half mark. And that cuts it exactly in half, which is actually just, I mean, it's just working out math-wise. And I have some 1-inch elastic here that I'm going to go ahead and put in the waistband and stitch it up. That way I don't have to worry about it moving on me when I'm trying to stitch it into, well, I'm going to stitch it on one side for sure. And then I'll sew this down on one side of the pair of pants. And then when I'm attaching it to the other side of the pair of pants, I think then I'll worry about securing this and stretching it to make sure that I've got the right measurement in the waistband. All right, change of plans. Y'all know how it is. We're gonna get this done eventually. This is a whole new set of rules for me. All right, everybody, good news. I was able to do it. What I did is I attached my elastic to one side of this casing and I sewed it all the way down, right sides together, and I ended up with a shortage on the hem somehow. I think what's happening with this shortage is I think this suede is stretching when I'm sewing it because it's tough going. So, but that's okay. That's fuzz. That's not going to be a problem because if it's stretching, then it's stretching all the way. And when I put it on, I'm still going to have to hem it up to this length where the red is. So it's not a problem. And I can cut it even to do that. I'm not going to lose anything at that point. But the stripe turned out really good. And then when I was sewing it to the other side, what I had to do was I went ahead and put a seam here. You can still see it. I can cut these stitches out. But I put a seam to catch the elastic on the other side, so I didn't have to worry about it getting loose from me. And then I sewed down the entire side there. Now this is a little bit of heavy stuff. I might have to trim it down. I'm not sure. But regardless, the point is it came together pretty well. The thing you have to watch out for things like with suede and leather is they may be stitched, but they're probably also glued. So I had to unglue this hem or this seam when I was putting them together so I could get them together flat. But it really went together pretty well. So I'm going to put the other side together. And again, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my piece and I'm going to sew in my elastic on one side. I'm going to sew it in one side, sew that side to the front of the pants, and then I will pull the elastic and sew it tight to this side. It'll already be scrunched up, but that way it won't move on me, and I'll sew the other side. And I'm just sewing a straight seam right down the sides, right sides together. So I'm going to work on the second side, and then we'll go meet over at the table, or better yet, we might have a reveal. I think I'll just do a reveal. Oh, no. I still got a hem. Still got a hem. So I'll probably hem with y'all, and then we'll do the reveal. right, I trimmed off the ends because I think that was what happened, was the suede stretched. And I trimmed it level with this original hem because I know this was the right length that we needed for it to fall properly on my boot. And I trimmed both sides, and I'm still turning under that inch that I knew I needed. I did also put these on and measure them just to make sure that I wasn't too far off. Now, I am not worrying about the satin lining. I'm just going to tuck it right into the hem and hem it all at once. And I've marked this, and I've tried to mark the other side, but I think I'm going to have to do it with one of those little special clips. But it's about an inch. So, it's an inch all the way around, just like I'd originally planned. And I'm going to hem these. I'm going to roll around on the sewing machine, and then I'm going to try them on. These have been a challenge, and I hope that this video is clear as mud and you can understand how I did it. But by all means, if not, send me questions. Let me know. I'll be happy to help. It's been a learning experience. All right, I'm not going to make y'all go through the torture of watching me hem, but I will meet y'all over at the reveal once I finish hemming these. Okay, everybody, I got them done. I actually made them a little too big. So, that being said, I still think they turned out cool. That's the leg. This is the boots I was going to wear it with. So, in the waistline, it's got the little bit of elastic right there. But honestly, they're just too big. And I needed to maybe size down the pants before. I thought they were tighter than this. I tried them on, and I think it's also the cut. This is an old style. They're not pleated, but they're full in the front. Weird enough. And the booty is kind of full. But all in all, process was to insert a panel on the side of the pants to give them a little more room, and I think that process went pretty good. We split it down the side, made our panel, sewed them on right sides together, and with the seams inside we were able to keep the lining. Then we hemmed them. So not my favorite, just for the fact that it's the cut. But the process was cool, and I think we might want to try this with a pair of jeans and change up the panel and make it even cooler. So, hope y'all enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you're thinking you want to do, or what you want me to do on a video. And we will catch each other on the flip side of our next project.